Hello, my favorite people, my warriors. My name is Kelly, I'm 24, and welcome to my recovery diary. Basically, every time I upload a video, I update you guys on how my eating disorder recovery is going, and just my life overall, and trying to find a better and healthier relationship with food in my body. I've struggled with those things for so many years. When I was 10, I developed anorexia, and I really never properly recovered, so that ended up spiraling into binge eating disorder. I was bulimic, and I've just always struggled with having a loving relationship with my body or food, and I know that's something so many of us struggle with. So when we come here, I talk to you guys about revelations that I've had in my own journey, revelations that I come to when I go to therapy. I go once a week, and it's just so amazing to finally have come to a place where I've come to peace with my struggle, and I don't judge myself for it, and I understand that I deserve a better life. And so therapy is also such an amazing thing that helps me find ways to find better self-value and self-worth, and really understand why I've struggled so much with all these things, why I fixate on all these things when it comes to food in my body, and really freeing myself from all of that. So today is something that's been in my mind for a long time. This is something that I've struggled with my whole life, basically. How do we stop wanting to weigh ourselves? How do we stop being so attached to the scale? And why do we feel such a need to weigh ourselves? What is so important about knowing that number on the scale, and what is so addictive about it? My deep attachment to weighing myself in the scale started when I was 10. There was this boy I had a huge crush on. One day after school, we were all just playing in the playground, and I remember he called me chubby. And I was like, whoa. I had never been described that way to my face. I'd always felt like I looked different than people on TV, people in magazines, and I always emulated really thin bodies, because what are the images that are always pushed in our faces? When you don't have a body that looks like all these images that you're seeing, and those are prized and looking, perfect and beautiful, I really assumed that I was wrong, this body was wrong, and it was bad and needed to be fixed. So I think when he said that, I just snapped, and I went home that day and I just decided I was not going to eat anymore. And I lost a crazy amount of weight in a very short time. When you don't properly recover from that, at least for me, I ended up struggling for many years after that. But that addiction to the scale, because I wanted to lose weight. I mean, I was called chubby, so how do you fix that? How do you fix being chubby? And I would weigh myself multiple times a day. And even the difference of a 0.1 pound would bring me such excitement and elation. And I got high off of that. And when you develop that connection with the idea of losing weight, when you develop that relationship with the scale, you can only imagine now, if you see it from that point of view, you're like, wow, no wonder I want to weigh myself all the time. So I made an Instagram post about this the other day. I really wanted to weigh myself, and I decided not to. Not because the scale is the enemy, not because the scale used to be my best friend. Now what I do is I take a step back and let myself ask myself, well, why do you want to do those things? Why did you feel the need to control your food? Why did you track your macros? Why do you feel the need to work out so much? Why do you feel the need to weigh yourself? Why do you feel the need to know and do all these things that you feel so addicted to, or did feel addicted to? Because now I'm at this point in my recovery where I'm able to really step away from almost all behaviors that I used to. And I lived my life as a disordered person. It doesn't make me bad, it doesn't make me unworthy, it doesn't make me flawed, it's just something I'd struggled with my whole life. We've coped by fixating on our bodies and food. So when I fixate on the number of pounds that I weigh, when I'm addicted to stepping on that scale every day, what am I avoiding? That's a weird question, right? What am I avoiding? Why do I want to focus so much on weighing myself every day? When you're so addicted to doing something and hitting a goal like your weight, I think a lot of things are easy to ignore. I grew up with a lot of struggles and issues in my family. I love them now, but when you're a kid, you don't know how to deal with those things. You don't want to deal with those things, and you don't know how to deal with your body insecurities. You don't know how to deal with the fact that your relationship with food is really weird. I mean, all these words, even like relationship with food, doesn't even make sense. So fixating on weighing myself every day and winning every time I lost weight, imagine that addictive behavior. Of course, I'm going to become absolutely obsessed with weighing myself because I'm winning every time I weigh myself and the number has changed. The fixation on something, period, is something that I want to step away from. I've always wanted to step away from, and I finally figure out how to do that. So when you really want to weigh yourself, really need to know the number, you feel like you're going to go crazy because you don't know how much you weigh. Why? What will weighing yourself serve you? The scale is not your enemy, and that's what I want us to learn. I think a lot of people in recovery want to view the scale as an enemy because if you hate something, it's easy to step away from. But even hating the scale is still having a pretty deep relationship with the scale. You're angry at it. You haven't found peace with it. I look at the scale and I just go, it's just a scale. I don't hate it. I don't want to be on it. I don't want to weigh myself. I just see it for what it is. It's something that helped me feel in control. This scale helped me feel like I knew what was going on with my body and that I could control it. Because if I ate less, if I did certain things, if I did more physical activity or less, I knew what was going to happen to the scale. And it's a game, a very addictive game that I was playing for years, ever since I was the age of 10, so I'm 24 now. And it's so freeing to just understand why we want to. Because then you don't feel so compelled to do it, and you don't feel so hopeless and powerless next to this freaking scale. Knowing our weight will never bring us peace that we're hoping to gain from it. It's not really gonna serve us in the way that we keep thinking, and we don't need it. You don't need to know how much you weigh. I'm not against it. I'm not against weighing yourself at all. I'm not this whole, I hate the scale, don't do it. I just don't want to give in to the struggles that I've had my whole life. And for me personally, just trying to give myself compassion and kindness for the fact that it is a compulsion to want to know how much I weigh. It helped me just ignore so many other things. I don't want to ignore things that I'm going through in my own real life, in my emotional life, in my personal life, because fixating on my body, my weight, my food, my everything, it helped me numb out so much everything else that I was struggling with. I struggle a lot with perfectionism, self-worth, self-value, self-confidence. I have really bad imposter syndrome where I don't think I'm smart enough or good enough or all these things. By replacing all these struggles with fixating on these coping mechanisms that developed themselves into eating disorders like anorexia, binge eating, bulimia, I wasn't living, and I want to live. And it's so incredibly fascinating to see how just being addicted to weighing yourself, how much of an impact that has on you as a person and your experience as a human and how you value yourself. The number on the scale, it feels like it gives you some sort of answer. It feels like you can control something, and it might give you a sense of a high when that number changes, but it's all temporary, and it's something that will never give us that fulfillment and happiness in our lives that we are really desperately needing, that really comes on the inside. And finding peace with exactly the way our bodies are right now and not feeling the need to label it with a number and control it by changing it, it will really free us so much to start unraveling all the other struggles that we're having. Because realistically, if you struggle with wanting to be a certain size and your weight, it's probably also linking a lot with your relationship with food and your relationship with everything else, with your emotions, with people, with school. Just, I know it sounds so overwhelming to hear all of these connections that wanting to weigh yourself has with everything else, but it's important to see that. And that's why recovery is amazing, because you start unraveling all these things, and therapy is really the only reason that I'm able to be like this. It's the only reason that I can talk the way I do and understand the way that I do. And I know it's so intimidating to start making changes and see all these vulnerabilities and struggles that we're having, but they're really there. We are struggling. We do have these compulsions. We do have these coping mechanisms, and we deserve to finally face them, because it's just a part of us and it doesn't deserve to be shamed. And by pushing them away when I used to deny that I was struggling, I just got sicker. So realize it's good to see these things in yourself. It's not shameful. It's not embarrassing. It's amazing to have this self-awareness, because self-awareness and acceptance of your struggle is a way to free yourself and get that better, more fulfilling, loving life that you want for yourself. And you don't need to weigh yourself. You don't need to track your food. You don't need to do anything day to day, any of these behaviors. Just ask yourself, is it really, really serving me? It's a really tough question to ask, but I'm here with you because I'm asking myself that every day. And that's what helps me not engage in behaviors that have really hurt me in the past. And that's why I feel so free and comfortable in my body now, because I am just in this body. I am the size that I am. I'm trying to just develop a healthy relationship with it and the food that I eat. That's all. It's simple, but it's not simple, and it's going to be up and down, and it's very difficult, but some days are so freeing and easy. So just pursue your life. You know, I say this is my recovery. I say that I'm in recovery, but I'm really just trying to live, trying to find peace. And I just don't want to struggle the the way that I used to. I'm always here for you, and I want you to be here for yourself and let yourself see what you're going through, because you are you. Whatever is happening inside of you is a part of you, and it doesn't deserve to be shamed or denied or pushed away. Let it come out, because you will find healing in releasing all of this stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I just always want to acknowledge you for watching this kind of video, because I know the videos on my channel were really challenging ourselves to see things in ourselves that are really difficult, and you guys are amazing for being so receptive to it and building this self-love, self-confidence, and self-awareness, and you really are trying to get a better life, and I love that we can do that together. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it at all, if it helped at all, and please drop a comment below if you have anything to say. Share your story. I really love hearing from you, and subscribe to my channel so you always know when there's another video, another episode of Recovery Diary, or videos about weight gain, fear, binge eating help, anything related to all these things that we just talked about. And you can actually press the little bell button, and that gives you a notification when a video is up, because a lot of times my friends' videos don't even show up on my homepage or on my feed, and I just don't understand. So click that, okay? I will see you in the next video. Bye!